to winning on Wednesday.
Boom, baby. What is going on, Insurance Syndicate? You know what time it is. It's 9 a.m. Central, and we are live here within the Insurance Syndicate headquarters in Austin, Texas. We got an action-packed freaking show for you. I don't know if you can tell in my tone of my voice and my freaking energy, but I'm super excited for today. You guys obviously saw me kind of posting in the group and sharing what we're going to be covering today. So stay tuned. We have an awesome freaking show. We have some awesome guests. And again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I see you all on here. What's up, Lily? Jimmy? Lori? What's up, Lori? John? What's up, Alex? Alex Cardenas is actually with the Clearview side of things and is crushing in the trucking side, which we are going to talk a little bit about today as well. But before we get into the show, you guys know, as always, shout out to Viva Virtual Solutions. They are the main sponsor of the show. Shout out to Lily Davies. Again, you see her in the comments, just everything she's doing to help us kind of run the group, all of our content, the editing, the clipping, the publishing. It's funny. People are like, man, you guys, I just caught you on TikTok. And I was like, yeah, we have a TikTok channel. So she typically will drop those handles within the group. Go give us some follows. Go check it out. Just see all the amazing work she's doing. And again, shout out to Rob Lopez, who is the founder of Viva Virtual Solutions. They just do an amazing job on the VA side of things. So got to give them a shout out here. Thank you for being the main sponsor. What's up, Erica? What's up, Jacqueline? What's up, Kim? Oh, we about to break some records, y'all, I think, in some freaking live attendance. This is how good this show is going to be. But before we get into it, you know what it is. It's the peak of the week, y'all. It's winning on Wednesday. Start dropping those weekly wins in the comments. We want to be able to celebrate you. I don't care how big or how small. Man, my win this week, it's not, I wouldn't call it like a sale or a deal, which we do have those in the works for sure. But I think it's what's backing the sales and the opportunities and the deals. And I was talking with my team yesterday just about the outbound efforts and the emphasis behind talk time. And the more you talk to people, the more you uncover and the more conversations you have and the more opportunity. But a lot of what goes into that is, again, I think it's the energy, but it's also your momentum, where regardless of how you wake up or what's going on in the middle of your day or at the end of the day, yesterday I had like another 7 hours of talk time and I had 6.5 hours of talk time on Monday, and I am just on freaking fire. So my weekly win is my momentum. I'm just really excited about everything that we have in the works. And obviously, y'all, like, if you haven't felt that momentum, I would really encourage you to take a deeper dive and a deeper look into what we have at our fingertips in the industry of insurance. It really, again, you don't have to be passionate about insurance, but if you understand it's the best vehicle to get you to whatever you're passionate about, the momentum the momentum comes easier, and it actually is not as fleeting as well, right? Where it's like, I freaking love what I do because I see what is possible in this amazing industry that we're in. So that is definitely my weekly win. Gosh, we've got over like 20 plus freaking live people on the show. I love it. What's up, Pops? Good to see you on here. Kim, working lots of leads this week. We freaking love it. Thank you, Lily, for the video and audio check. Y'all, we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. I love all the live viewers here. We've got an action-packed show, and this is going to be geared primarily towards property and casualty insurance agents, okay? Now, I will say a lot of the conversations I'm starting to have in the last like 3 to 6 months, a lot of y'all on the life and health side, Medicare side of things, P&C starting to look a little bit more enticing. So if you have questions, if this is a little bit foreign to you, don't hesitate to ask the questions in the comments. I've got my phone pulled up, so we'll be able to answer those live on the show. But we are doing just a full deep dive with some experts when it comes to everything commercial insurance, the foundations, the verticals, the coverages, the systems, the tech stack, the virtual assistants, automations, AI, all the good stuff that we have kind of packaged into our agencies. And also stay with us till the end of the show because we do have an amazing announcement that we're really excited to announce. But just stick with us through the show. We're going to chop it up. We're going to have some fun, drop some value for all of our listeners, and then show you a little bit more what we have in the cooker. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my good friends, Kody and Tyler. What's going on, gentlemen? Good morning.
Morning, Joe. Good to be back on the show, brother.
Yes. Tyler, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. Doing great. Excited to be here.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, real quick, you guys have obviously been in the syndicate group forever and in all the other forums. So a lot of people know who you are. But for those who are new, or maybe for those who aren't on your email marketing campaign there, Kody, if you guys want, just quick, Kody, we'll start with you. Just 30,000 foot overview. Who's Kody? What you doing with Prime Risk and everything? We'll do round robin and just kind of get into the show.
Yeah, man, 8 years in the industry, all on the P&C side. Spent a lot of years selling personal lines, pivoted to strictly commercial. A couple of years ago, had some explosive growth. Went to work with one of the I'd say top consulting firms in the industry for a little bit, and then launched real insurance training last year and got 28 agents and agencies that I work with, both on the coaching side and consulting side there. Yeah, man, agency owner in the grind with you guys every single day, 100% commercial. Built 2 vertical niches inside the agency. We everybody pretty much knows us for our contractor side. And then we've got a really solid foundation for tech and cyber moving forward.
Love it. Cyber's so freaking important right now too, man. A lot of people are sleeping on that coverage for sure. Tyler, what you got, man? 30,000 foot overview, my man.
Yeah, man. So 7 years in the industry, started working for one of the, he was a nationwide Hall of Famer, built a massive book of business. And so I was just doing commercial insurance for those guys. Started out at the Pace Setter Producer School. That's where I kind of cut my chops and learned. Eventually went out, started a scratch agency, grew it. And in the midst of that, found virtual assistants. Once I hit about $1 million in premium, it was more than I could handle on my own. So couldn't afford a really good CSR. Had a buddy with an Amazon and eBay drop shipping store and said, look, I got VAs running stuff for me. So I started spending from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. every night because I was a single guy at the time. Started spending those hours recording training videos. Took that, started teaching VAs, and then agents in Facebook groups just started hitting me up asking for us to help. So now we've staffed for hundreds of agencies. That's been fun. Obviously now we've got AI and tons of resources. So we're trying to just come out with a lot of really valuable, specific problem-solving tools. So proposal generators, certificate generators, things like that, just using AI, trying to make agents' life easier and trying to not break the bank, trying to make stuff super affordable. So yeah, that's what I'm into these days.
What's your most, we'll stay with you real quick. What's your most, you're dropping a new tech set, you're dropping something, a new application, something new like every week. And you're like just giving it to agents for free to test and to tweak and fine tune from there. But like, what's the most recent projects you've been released or you're working on?
Yeah. So Insurance Proposal Pal is pretty much done. Actually, some of the guys in Kody's crew are helping me revamp that. But essentially, you'll drop in your quote from the carrier. And if you want, you can drop in the past coverage from the incumbent agent, and it will generate just a nice looking proposal, got your agency branding on it, features your agency benefits. It'll tell why to go with you as opposed to the previous. COI Genie, same idea. You upload the deck pages and it will generate an Accord 25. It's got options for you to enter remarks. If they've got a contract, you can enter the contract and it'll tell you if you're compliant or not and what you're missing. And then our next tool is Cert Vault. And so we're super stoked about this. It's a way for you to prospect commercial business. So you can set it up for all of your insureds. And if they have to receive certificates, they can just send a link to their subcontractors. They upload the COI using that tool. And then again, it reads your contract. It tells you that certificate is compliant with what you're requiring. And then the kicker is 60 days prior to that expiration date, it's you, the agent, an email saying, hey, this subcontractor is expiring soon. You've got a great opportunity to go write the business. Here's the contact.
Freaking beautiful, dude. I love it, man. And so I want to preface real quick before we get into it. And I'm going to go to you first on this question, Kody. The main reason that, obviously wanted you to be on this call this morning, and obviously what we're going to announce at the end of this is, and I think a lot of people view me as good in commercial insurance, really just property and casualty, right? But what I have so much respect for you guys on is like where I'm really good. A lot of what I do, I would not be able to do it without a team. So one thing that I really respect about y'all is it's not, you don't have all of these people surrounding you, helping you do these things. You guys have literally built your agency for the most part. I'm not saying there hasn't been, help in there, but for the most part, like you guys, like by yourselves, right? And it's like you didn't have the running mate. And I've always kind of had that in my career, at least on the independent side. So I always give like mad respect to you guys because, yes, I've built things and I'm good at what I do. But at the same time, I've got a lot of partners and things that like that help with the back office and the systems and the AI and stuff. Because sometimes, dude, sometimes I just can't even wrap my brain around AI and the freaking capability of it now. But seriously, like I want to give you guys that respect because you've kind of done it by yourself. And I know you've had your mentors and things like that. So I'm not discrediting them. But it's difficult, man. And I've kind of gotten into that seat a little bit. And it's like, damn, this is so much different than, having like my pops when we were running Redwood and kind of having that back office support, which obviously we still have with Clearview. But my first question, man, and Kody, and maybe this again goes to how you're able to kind of be that one-man shop with your VAs and things like that, but just running such a successful agency, like why commercial? I'm just going to start with why commercial insurance, man, because I feel like anytime that we are sold the pipe dream of insurance, it's sell auto and home insurance, partner with all the lenders and take care of their clients and have the referral relationships. And I know there's some very successful agencies that have that model in place, but man, I freaking love commercial insurance too, man. So Kody, why commercial, man? What turned you on to it? And obviously, some of the things you're doing now.
Man, it was a little over 3 years ago. I was just a struggling agent, ready to fold it in, man. I had been trying to do the home and auto thing. And thought everybody was just going to flock to me because of my name and my smile. And I'm just a friendly neighborhood insurance guy, right? Everybody let me quote your business. And after 3 years of that, my agency was at $30,000 revenue. And I could pay my bills. And I spent I had like $2,000 in the bank. And I spent $1,500 to sponsor a contractor event. And it was actually where I met Andy Elliott, Carlos Reyes, a bunch of them dudes. But I'm at my booth and went and did my little 2 minutes on stage, and the general contractor that's now my largest client came up and he's like, "Hey, do you do work comp?" "Yeah, I do." "Well, I hate my agent and I liked what you said up there. Can you be my agent?" "Yeah, sign here." And it was at that time an $11,000 commission. Came in on that account, and something just that switch flipped in my mind of, dude, like that's 30% of what I made last year. Like, what am I doing messing around here slinging home and auto policies for $300 commissions? When I can go 30x that in one swoop on the commercial side. So had started to make that shift. And then somebody introduced me to the book 10x is easier than 2x. If you guys haven't read that book, I highly urge you to go read it. And that book talks about 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients. So why not go sell to more people like the top 20% of your clients? Well, at that time I had a couple of really good commercial accounts and everybody was telling me I was crazy because just like you said, Joe, that we're taught in the industry, home and auto pays the bills, commercial is just icing on top, right? I got a lot of pushback from my aggregator and some people around me that were like, dude, you can't do this. Like, take the commercial when it comes, but the bread and butter you have to build is home and auto. I'm a guy that doesn't take direction well. So sold my personal lines book and went just balls to the wall on commercial, man. And the reason we've been able to build the way that I have, and for you guys that don't know, my agency is me and my brother. I handle agency administration and primarily sales, and he handles all of our service. But we've gotten to 500 this past year. We had some clients we eliminated, some gone out of business, but we finished 2025 at 508 in revenue. And it's me and my brother, and we have 111 clients in the book.
Come on, baby. That's freaking awesome.
Right there. That's the key to it right there is when I learned to focus on revenue per client, right? Figure out that minimum revenue per client, just like we hear in the bigger shops, right? Their minimum revenue levels. A lot of the big guys, they've got $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 minimum revenue standards for their producers. We can enact and model that in our own Main Street agencies as well. We don't have to go that big because those guys, they have to go that big to sustain all the overhead and everything that they have. I fully believe and have now proven that you can build an incredibly profitable book focusing on $2,500 revenue accounts. And you live in that $2,500 to $10,000 revenue level where those big guys aren't swimming because they're not profitable enough for them. But on the client side, they're not getting the resources that those big guys offer their bigger clients, where we can come in on a smaller side, more flexible, offer a better service plan, and show up for them in ways that those big agents can't.
Right.
And that's the foundation and focus of it, man.
What? How? And Tyler, I want you to kind of pick up where he leaves off on this one. Was it difficult for you? Because you guys know, obviously, commercial is what I love, but we still do a ton of personal lines business. Was it hard for you to get entirely out of personal lines? Like, was it kind of like, man, but like, cause it's Kody, you're like, I don't touch it. Like, I'm commercial only, man. Is that difficult to say no to some of that stuff? Do you still, I guess now that your branding has changed enough, do you still get those phone calls just because you're in insurance? And how easy was that switch? And is it still easy today to say no to some of those accounts that maybe hit your plate?
Yeah, we still get the calls just because our SEO in the local area, when somebody hits insurance agent, we pop up. So we still get some of the calls. But what I did, man, was I found a local agent that I trusted and that I knew wasn't going to come try to poach my commercial business and was going to do a really solid job on the personal line side. And there are agencies that just don't want to mess with commercial, which, blows my mind sometimes, but they just say we won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, those conversations in the beginning were kind of weird, especially trying to protect my current book of business. But again, just getting really focused and getting used to saying no more than I say yes. I mean, we might write three to five accounts a month. And now even smaller stuff that doesn't fit what we're doing on the commercial side, we turn away. And we refer that stuff out to other agencies. But when you don't compromise on your standards, you actually build the business that you're trying to build. It's whenever we start looking at, oh man, this call came in, I didn't make any effort for it. I'm going to take this contractor that's going to be a $500 revenue account. And the next thing you know, he wants 62 certificates.
Right.
He's working for apartment complexes and doing all this stuff. And now your service work has ate up every bit of profit on that account.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to really dive into the economics of business, right? And I think that's where we have to look at this shift as insurance agents, is you have to stop studying other insurance agencies, because let's face it, a lot of insurance agencies are built bad. There have been bad business decisions made. We focus on premium. We even look and focus on top line revenue without understanding that piece comes in the profit.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Mello's a local guy here. If you guys don't follow him, Tommy Mello's built A1 Garage Doors, $250 million company. Says revenue is for vanity, profit is for sanity.
Yeah, preach, dude. I love what you said too.
I don't know about you, but I'm in this business to make money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's that quote. There's a lot of power in the word no, which definitely is something I can sometimes struggle with, for sure. Tyler, let's turn it over to you, bro, because I know how you started your agency was the lender side of things, and you crushed it, and then obviously have now pivoted. Talk through some of that and what caused you to pivot away from something that was, it was good, right? It wasn't bad by any means.
Well, to Kody's point, so I started just in commercial. So the agency that I started at was a nationwide agency. Now, back when we got started, nationwide agents, they were captive on personal lines, and you could go independent on commercial. Then I think it was 2018, 2019, Nationwide eventually let everybody go independent. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I was just writing commercial, and that's all I did. Now, it was great. I was a scratch agent. Like, I didn't know anything. This was my first job out of college. So I was going after anybody with a pulse. And I wrote a whole lot of $500 bops. Well, you don't make anything on those accounts. I wrote some decent, I got into machine shops, and those were like 10 to 20,000 in premium. So a little bit of revenue there. And so when I went to go start my agency, I said, this isn't sustainable. I can't keep calling on all these accounts and potentially write a $2,000 policy. And so what I decided to do was go after the lender side. So I got a membership at Topgolf. I took 3 lenders per week to lunch.
Wow.
I pretty much batted 1,000 for a long time. Pretty much everybody sent me a referral after lunch. And so I built my book of business that way. And then I stumbled into some of the commercial, like middle market accounts that I'd been going after. Because year one, I don't blame them. They didn't want me to have an opportunity to write the business, but right. I kept calling them. And then I got into some accounts that were 100 to 200,000 in premium, where you could go make a little bit more money. And that was a game changer for me, because as soon as I got that account in and kept them for a couple of years, that's the base that pays all of my tech, pays for a lot of my just overhead expenses for the agency. And then the personal lines became the gravy. So you could build a really solid book just in some larger commercial accounts. And I'll say this, the personal line side, obviously everybody's experience is different, but they were a lot more needy than those commercial clients, because if you mess up and give somebody your cell phone, there's no telling when you're getting a text or a phone call. My commercial clients, it was an email, and I could answer it during business hours. So it's a whole lot easier and less stressful to manage your book if you're just going after more savvy customers.
Yep. So funny. So I got to tell this because I was on the phone late last night. It was a referral, and it was her cousin, and she's buying the car this morning and needed a policy by like 8 a.m. I've never talked to her or anything. And I was on the phone last night at like freaking 9:30, 10 o'clock trying to quote this chick's auto policy because she was buying the car from the dealership today. And it's like, damn it, Tyler's right. It's like, yep, I was that guy on the phone last night. Probably shouldn't have. What were you going to say on that, Kody?
To hit that same thing, man. You asked the question, what was it that made me get out of personal lines? That was it for me. Mm-hmm. I can tell you the moment. There was a Saturday. I was out with my wife and kids. We were going to lunch, and a 2.5-year tenured client was blowing me up at 1:00 on a Saturday afternoon on my cell phone repeatedly. I'm like, okay, man, they've called 5 times. I got to take this. Mm-hmm. And I pick up the phone, and the husband starts yelling at me because their renewal just came down the pipe. And I'm not bullshitting one bit when I say it went up $7 a month. And they are absolutely losing it on me after 5 phone calls at 1 p.m. on a Saturday. And that was what I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, no. And it's like, okay, they must have been in an accident. The house must be on fire. It's like, nah, dude, I'm paying whatever, 7 times 12 a month. It's like, golly, dude, that's what you're calling me about on a freaking Saturday, man. That's wild, man.
December 24th, 2022. It was Christmas Eve, and in South Carolina, it doesn't get that cold, but it got really cold that night. And I had multiple clients call me because they had pipes burst, and I had to walk them through the process, which I understand. That's what we're there for. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing I can do at 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
Right.
And I decided that day that I was making a pivot.
I'm done. And I don't know, for anybody that's watching this too, again, don't hesitate to ask some questions. I see all the comments. Our guy Patrick Murakami's on here. Pops is on here too, saying great line. Jeremy Huddleston, what's up, bro? Good to see you on here, man. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Again, don't hesitate to ask questions. But again, for maybe a personal lines agent, or even let's just say a new P&C agent that's still trying to define. I have another P&C insurance agents group, and it's a public group because Facebook was really promoting public. I didn't want to make syndicate public, so then I just started a new public one that's just P&C. And there's a gentleman in there that has been asking a lot of questions of like, how hard is it? What should I be pursuing? Is it commercial? And for me, again, I think the auto and the home definitely kind of showed me the ropes as far as even like, I guess just what some of the carrier systems looked like, where the resources and appetite guides were. Even if they did commercial insurance, I was still only in that system for personal. And so, but I look back now and I always ask myself, man, how much would I change, right? Because I remember the day that I found about trucking, and, it was a $28,000 policy. And I was telling you guys this on our last call. I was embarrassed to freaking send the quote. I'm like, dude, this guy's going to laugh at me. Like, $28,000 a year, dude, for one truck, one driver, and a trailer. Like, no freaking way. And then I send it to him, call him, and he goes, and I'm almost like I'm getting ready to get berated, I feel like, Kody. And dude's like, dude, this is the best I found. How can I pay? And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh, shit. I mean, I know it's only a 10% comp level with Progressive, but that's a $2,800 rip. And who's to say what happens in the next 3 to 6 and 12 months down the road as he continues to grow? And that's what we'll kind of talk about, is what we've now implemented, even if we're getting in the door with new venture people, things that, again, Kody and Tyler and I am doing to kind of help these people, my guys, stay on the road, but more so stay in business, right? And be profitable when you're freaking doing that. So I guess, Kody, we'll come to you on this. New agent, right? So again, I'm talking about that agent in the PNC group, and he's just like, dude, what should I do? Like, okay, we're going to stick with commercial. What would you tell him to do? In his first, let's just say 30 to 60 days, here's my game plan if I were you to go after commercial insurance, and here's here's the specific, again, verticals. I know you said, hey, I'm really big in my 2 verticals, but obviously you're doing probably more outside of cyber and contractors. What would you educate him to do?
I would definitely say get focused on, I am a proponent of up to 3 niches.
Okay.
Right. You've heard it, the cliche, riches are in the niches, man. I will always be an advocate for going 1,000,000 miles deep versus 1,000,000 miles wide.
Yeah.
You have to become a specialist. You have to create a brand and reputation around who you are and what you do, and you have to dominate that. You see, most of your 7-figure producers are all niche focused, right? And some people think that that's going to limit them. You guys, there is so much freaking business out there in these verticals. It's insane. I mean, in Arizona alone, there are a couple 100,000 licensed contractors. And I currently only write 111 of them.
Right.
Our prospect pool will never end. And I'm licensed in 7 other states. The pool is there. And you can expand that as you go, right? Like when I initially launched, we were a contractors agency. And then we started getting some of the local trucking stuff. I don't like doing the interstate trucking, but we will entertain local trucking stuff, primarily sand and gravel. And we branched out into that. And then we started getting some calls from machine shops and started writing some of that stuff. So what we became and morphed into was, and a lot of you guys have probably seen my branding, the blue collar business insurance broker, right? If you work with your hands, we're the place you need to be.
Love that.
But creating that focus and that niche. And again, it doesn't have to be, I only write excavation contractors. It can be an industry wide thing. You guys, it can be a line of coverage. It doesn't even have to be a niche. You can go write nothing but work comp. Shout out to the dude, Zach Hirsch. The guy is known for being the guy for insurance agency E&O.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he sells, and he builds a career out of it. You can be a line. Chris Green, my guy, sells nothing but flood insurance. You can pick a line of business and do this, but you have to get focused and you have to go deep and become an expert.
Yep. Absolutely. I totally 100% agree. It's actually funny. Any of the new people that I talk with, I tell them pick 3. And then I would even add a little bit more to that of go to the carriers that you're contracted with before you go pick your 3, because you could have your 3, but then if you don't have the ability to write any of the business because the carriers don't want it, it's like, oh shit, I got to find a new 3. So I was trucking, obviously, real estate investors, and then auto body shops, just because I knew I had the best when it came to auto bodies, and I had the direct primary coverage and all that stuff, and versus the legal liability, blah blah blah. But I love the 3, and then you can kind of again grow from there as you get really good at those 3. I love that line, bro. 1,000,000 miles deep, not 1,000,000 miles wide. That's so freaking so good.
Let me take a step further, dude. If you want to, because a lot of people are like, well, if everybody goes and asks the carriers what they're writing, then we've got all the competition. If you want to reduce the competition, go to the carriers and ask them, hey, what are you absolutely killing it in that no one is sending you? And then go do that.
Yep. They all have an appetite list, and they're all going to look similar. But ask them for recent wins or things that they want to write that nobody's referring in.
Especially if you've got some regionals that will open up their appetite and underwriting guidelines a little bit more, you guys, and write some of that weird stuff. Secura is one like that they will touch some things on the standard market side that a lot of your others won't.
Mm-hmm.
So go talk to those underwriters and figure out where can you build a vertical that nobody's even prospecting in because they're not even seeing the submissions.
Yeah. Right. Gosh, we're going to come back to that. Don't let me forget about talking about the importance of relationships with underwriters. So freaking important.
That's what I was about to talk about.
Okay.
So when I was in Pacesetter, so that's a state auto program, I got to be really good buddies with my underwriter. He lived like an hour away from me. So we met up and had lunch a couple of times, and he became invested in my success because I was a green agent. And he said, look, man, I need to write business and you need to write business. Let me just help you. And so he went to my first couple of accounts with me. We closed every one of those. So yeah, find an underwriter that actually you jive with and just put yourself on the same side of the table. We're in this together. Now let's find a way to go crush both of our goals, and your life's going to be a whole lot easier because your submissions now go to the top of the pile.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether they're supposed to or not.
And don't treat your underwriters like shit, because otherwise you'll be at the bottom of that freaking pile, right? And I would say too, this is just anybody that is trying to shop your shit out through RPS and RT and CRC and all these MGAs, guys. There's so much overlap in what they have access to. Again, some of them have some exclusive programs that maybe, they're going to hit where somebody else doesn't. But most of your large, like conglomerate, when it comes to MGAs, because they're all rocking for the most part with the same carriers, find an underwriter that you like and stick with it, right? Because you start sending it out. And even if you had the good relationship with the underwriter, then that underwriter in RPS goes to submit and it's already blocked because you submitted it to somebody at RT. And it's like, yo, I thought we were friends. And then now you got to do the whole BOR thing. I mean, it's a nightmare. Like, find an underwriter that you like and submit business to them. I love that you said that. Tyler, what would be, let's piggyback a little bit off of my first question to Kody of like, what would you tell somebody, right? Like, as far as their first 30 to 60 days, what was kind of your game plan when you were doing that, at least getting more involved in the commercial side?
Mine was not fun. So I have some binders. I'm at my home office today. At my work office, I have full binders of the ISO forms. And I sat down with a highlighter and read them cover to cover. So I don't know how many hundreds or couple thousands of pages there were, but there are exclusions. And so I highlighted and dog-eared, or whatever you called it, folded down pages so that I could refer back to those. Because the thing that I think as an agent or as a new agent, you're going to be worried that maybe you don't know enough. Just by having your license, you know a lot more about insurance than whoever you're going to talk to. But if you come in there also with a little bit of industry-specific knowledge, all you need is one or two nuggets that are going to save them money. They're going to feel like you are the expert. Yes. And so, yeah, I agree with you guys. Picking a niche. So I went after machine and fab shops. I kind of count that as one. Real estate investors, I liked those because I could find them in Facebook groups really easily. And then general contractors, generally GCs, because they could refer me their subs list. And so it was easier to prospect there. And at the time, State Auto was really liking, they would write paper GCs. Now they got gobbled up by Liberty.
I miss you, State Auto, and your quoting platform. You were so beautiful. Oh, man. I do miss that freaking platform, bro. Gosh, I'm like, and you guys rolled it into Safeco and Liberty? Damn it, man. Real quick, we do have some questions here live, so I want to make sure we actually answer them live here. This one is actually from my pops. What's up, Dad? What percentage, and both of you guys can answer this, what percentage of your commercial business is built around relationships versus advertising? Guys, are any of us running ads? I don't think any of us are running ads, are we?
I don't run ads at all, man, because the targeting is so difficult when it comes to insurance. I'm trying to run meta ads, and it's gotten so expensive over on Google that I spend my money elsewhere.
Yeah, relationship, taking people to Topgolf and doing it that way. So Tyler, you're the same way?
Yeah, okay. Same. I can't think of a single client that came in from ads. Maybe some from like social media, but other than that, just building relationships with people.
Love that. Love that. And I want to go back. We do have another, Eric is actually one of our top trucking agents at Clearview. They write some millions of dollars of freaking trucking. It's ridiculous. They kind of scare me sometimes. But real quick too, talking about being an expert, right? You guys both reiterated that. I wrote it down and underlined it. So it's like, we're obviously on the same page, but I think it's also, there's an important piece here that do your clients know. So say you are the expert, right? And you've niched down, you've focused in on your verticals and your appetites that you're going after. You know what you're doing. You are an expert. Do your clients know you are? And so I think it's really important to kind of, Kody, you were talking about just setting standards, right? And how you're able to say no, and it's for your sanity, right? And the profit. And I think there's a lot of power in out the gate, setting the standard that, dude, I am not your typical, for me, trucking agent, right? And that's why, again, we talked on this on our last call where, I'm not like, yes, I'm here to give you the biggest bang for your buck on the insurance side of things, but we're not just a insurance agency, right? We are an expert in the trucking and transportation space. We do have DOT compliance. We have drug consortiums and driver testing. We have ELD and dash cams. We have warranty products. We have lines of credit for business owners or equipment financing, or, hey, you need a truck? Dude, I got a guy that sits on the dealership that can sell you the truck, and he does private financing on the big rigs. And so, again, you start adding that in there, even if they don't call Larry Molenberg and get the truck from the dealership or fill out anything for a line of credit or whatever it is, dude, I separate myself from everybody else because I instantly made it known that I was the expert within my first 5 minutes of conversing with them, right? So I think that's really important. I love that you guys were reiterating that as well. Like, make sure if you are an expert, like, make sure they freaking know that you're an expert, right? And tell them that. So speaking of obviously being an expert, this is something, again, I'm not necessarily the expert in. So, Kody, I'll probably go to you on this. And then Tyler, if you want to piggyback this too, I know you guys have both gone through this. So just work this one together. So again, this is from Eric, who is one of our top trucking agencies in Clearview, if not our top. How do you handle general liability and workers' comp audits? Been doing trucking only and avoiding contractors due to audit issues. What would you say to that?
The best time to start working on an audit, man, is the day you write the policy. And you need clear communication with and from your clients on starting day one around the audit, because I will tell you what, that I would say half of the business that comes in the door with us is because of audit headaches. And I love I can't remember who the heck it was that said it, but I've been seeing this pop up more and more. The way you win an account is the way you're going to lose an account. So if you've taken it on the promise that you're going to help them with audits and provide support and provide all these resources and be there for them and solve all these service issues that their other agents haven't, and then you don't show up that way, you're going to lose the account on the same premise. So we lay out what that audit process looks like from day one. Here's your rating factor on your general liability. Here's what to expect if you go over that number. We're going to do quarterly check-ins with you, making sure that our what we projected for the policy period is still tracking. And let's say you've had an explosive first 6 months of the year and you're going to blow through sales by 50%. Let's call your carrier right now and endorse that onto the policy so you can start paying for that now, not get a $25,000 bill 60 days after your policy expires and that 30 year the policy is canceled. Let's get out ahead of that now. From the contractor side, I'm gonna give you guys some game here. Is we do all of our subcontractor compliance. So we examine their subcontractor agreements, make sure all the risk transference language is there, all the insurance requirements are there, and then we have a dedicated email, compliance@primeriskinsurance.com, that they send all of those COIs to us. So when it comes to the work comp side, we're proactively checking for work comp on all of these certificates, making sure that all of the subs have active work comp. If not, guess what? Ding, ding, ding. That's a new prospect in my pipeline that I'm going to call and try to win that business. And now I can build an entirely separate pipeline of prospects off of just offering a service to my general contractors or anyone that's subbing out work. So it just starts day one. And then I also wrote an audit guide that goes out to every one of our clients. It's like 8 pages long that shows that here's what's going to be calculated in payroll. Here's what's exempt. Here's how you can skirt some of this stuff. Make sure that you're tracking, if you've got people doing multiple roles, their time spent in different, if somebody's a salesperson and an installer, making sure that they are tracking their time properly as to when they're doing what. If you guys are dealing with that, there's actually a really cool payroll service that came out now called hourly.io, and it's construction based, where if they're sending someone to a job site and they're doing multiple trades, say it's just a handyman and he's doing electrical for 15 minutes and then doing flooring for a couple hours, the app actually lets them clock into the specific duty that they're doing at the time and tracks all of that for the company. So if they're doing flooring, they can clock into flooring and do flooring, and they'll track it under that class code.
That's cool.
So it's like you were saying, building an entire toolbox of resources for your trucking clients, Joe. You got to do the same thing on the contractor side or whatever vertical you're going into. You've got to go solve problems outside of insurance placement.
Right. Solving problems, right? Tyler, how would you kind of address that? Are you doing something similar? I mean, I know you and Kody works like together. I mean, I know obviously different, but together it's like you guys probably do a lot of the same best practices, I would assume.
To piggyback on Kody, I feel like kind of the old adage, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. When I was first getting started, the most pissed I had clients get was when they got the audit at the end of the year and they crushed it in their business, and now they have a massive bill because of that. So I think just making everybody get on quarterly reporting so that you're making sure that everything's fine so that you don't get a big surprise at the end of the year. That's huge. I think that's a really big piece of it. And also, it's just a little bit of coaching, because they're going to get really peeved when they get the letter in from Liberty and it's 3 times what the expected bill is, just because they slapped a surcharge on it for not completing an audit. So educating people, here's what's going to happen if you don't do this. I really don't want that to happen to you. Help me help you.
Right. What are you using? Because obviously, I mean, you've got that infrastructure and that tech side of things really built out. Is there something that you're using in your agency to, I guess, stay on top of those quarterly audits, whether that's client facing or whether that's just you internally? Is that a management system type thing, or are you using VAs for that? Or
I always handle that internally. Like, I've got VAs that typically would set reminders for me. Kody's probably got a better resource than I do, though.
No,
man, it depends on the tier of client that we have. If it's a prime or VIP tier client, I'm doing those reviews with them and actually walking through that process. If it's one of our lower tier clients, then that communication happens via email.
Yep. Okay. I like that. Hopefully, Eric, that answers your question, man. Again, if you guys have any other questions, definitely don't hesitate to drop those in. I see, man, we got a bunch of people tuning in freaking live. I love it. What's up, Chris? Again, if you guys have questions, definitely don't hesitate to drop that in there. Okay, so I was kind of thinking about this earlier, and I talked about it for a second, but I do want to ask you guys this question. Again, if there was one thing you could, because we've all, I think, started differently, but kind of in the same kind of space, to where obviously now we've graduated into the commercial and we have years of experience and kind of understanding. But let's just say, like, for a new agent coming in, if they're asking me, and it's the classic question, we all have been asked the question, if there was one thing you could change, what is there something that you would change? And if so, what would it be? Tyler, we'll start with you there. If there was one thing you could change about the agency, is there something? And if so, obviously, what would that kind of one thing be? Maybe 2 things.
My agency, or just industry in general?
Let's do both. Let's do your agency and then industry. I like that.
The first and foremost thing would be having an agency dedicated phone number, voice over IP, and giving that to clients rather than my personal cell phone. If I could go back and change anything, that would be it. As far as something I could change in the industry, I do feel like there's a lot of stigmas in the industry about this is just the way that we've always done it. Insurance is largely stale, male, pale. Like, it's going to follow the same way every single time. And so they have a playbook of, you come in, you're going to call friends and family first. You're going to practice writing their home and auto. Then you're going to start prospecting Main Street. You're going to drop off business cards in downtown. Hopefully somebody's going to call you. Those are not the accounts you want to go after. And so I would recommend agencies to find a new way of prospecting good business. I do think there's ways to write good business on personal lines if you make it stay within your guardrails. And so the way that I was doing it, I was bringing in homeowners insurance, and I had a very standard process for how that was done. I had a VA trained exactly on, here's the data, how it comes in, here's how we quote it, here's how I want you to present it to me, here's how I present it to the client and write it. And then I'll let automation help me round out the accounts. So I think starting with the end in mind for agencies would be really beneficial. So rather than do it the same way we've always done it, define, what does my dream agency look like? And then find somebody that has done that and try to copy them rather than just follow the industry norms.
Yep. 100%, man. Go find somebody that has what you want, do what they have, or do what they do, and then get what they have. Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Kody, what you got on that, man? One thing in your agency and then the industry.
Agency wise, man, I would have minimized a lot faster,
Okay.
and gotten more efficient for profit. When I came in, it was kind of the beginning of all of the tech boom. So it was, you had CRMs flying out from every direction. You had all these automation programs. You had, the new phone systems and the data intake platforms and everything just flying at you from every direction. And then you had every talking head in the industry that was, getting kickbacks for selling all that stuff, telling you that, you better get this shit or you're going to be irrelevant. And every other agency in the country is going to steamroll you and blah, blah, blah. Right. And I wasted a lot of money on stuff that I did not need and that my clients didn't care about. Nobody used it. It was when I had that reset 3 years ago, when I got rid of the personal lines and went solely focused on commercial, that I stripped down to AMS, CRM, VoIP, insurance X date, so I could get the lead list. And that was it. And I didn't go buy one of the big the big box CRMs that we had. Shout out to our boy, Alex Branding. I've been an agent CRM user for a very long time. Absolutely love what that dude does. Actually meeting up with him for dinner tonight.
Check it out. Check it out. If you guys want to check out Agent CRM, scan that QR code in the top corner, and that actually gets you 100 free call credits as a syndicate member.
Right there. No, man, I would have stripped it down to the bare minimum of not only just tech, but expenses until I hit like the $250,000, $300,000 revenue mark. And then you've got a little bit of money to start playing around. But I just would have quieted all the noise around me and used my money more wisely on growth rather than installing all of these systems and shit. Because you know what? That's all cool if you have clients actually use them, but I didn't have a book of business for clients to actually use the damn tech I was buying.
Right.
Sales solves all problems. I'm sorry, but maybe not all. 95% of problems, sales solves it. Revenue solves your problems.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I would have done would have been focused around making more money. And I think that that's a two-part answer, because I think that that's an industry problem as well.
Yeah.
I think that there's so much noise coming from every direction, and everybody's pushing everybody else's crap, and agents are spending thousands of dollars a month on stuff that they just don't need.
Yep. I would say my answer to that is, and again, some of this may, and I don't know if I would necessarily, I guess, say it's pertinent to kind of what you're saying as far as the CRM side of things and that shiny object side. But for me, I think when it came to commercial insurance, like one thing I would have changed, this is like a personal thing that I would have changed, is my fear, right? I talked to you about, like, man, I literally was scared. Not only was I scared, I was embarrassed to send that freaking quote to that trucker, right? And I love this. Luke Acree said it. I don't know if it's his quote, but he said it on our Monday Mindset show a couple weeks ago, and maybe even longer than that now. But fear, false evidence appearing real. And I'm like, man, that was one thing. And I'm saying that to encourage any of the other agents, especially P&C agents that are listening. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with these people that are still doing personal lines simply because commercial scares them, right? And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, it's not that freaking scary. Like, outside, especially again, speaking specific to trucking, it's not too much different than quoting the personal auto. Outside of, you just got to know your nuances. You got to know the filings and there's that other like specific things in trucking, but it's not that much different. And you go and start the quote the same way you would start the personal auto within Progressive or so it's like, that would be my, again, words of encouragement to myself going back and thinking, and I guess that's a dual answer for me too. And also for the industry, like, don't be scared of it. I remember one account I had, and guys, we'll take the last kind of 10 minutes here to kind of release our announcement and just talk about everything that we're going to start providing, obviously to syndicate members and then other agency owners and businesses as well. But I always remember this account. The guy's name was, I want to say it was Jason Plumley. And it's not the NBA player or anything like that, but his name was like Jason Plumley, and he was running, and I'd already been in commercial, but I was still in my 3 verticals, right? But I had a better understanding of now general, like I understood some more things, right? And this guy comes to me, he was in Corpus, and so a little bit, South Texas, kind of coastal, and he struck gold in this pond, and he was the only person like within 60 miles, man. And it was a frac sand mining operation. And so all of these trucks, I mean, I'm talking day one, this dude opened, because he struck gold in this pond. They don't have to drive 60 miles. They have to drive 2 miles to get to this guy's location. And I just remember going into that being like, oh shit. But I will say at that point in time, I think I had removed the fear where it's like, dude, I just need to do my due diligence and do my research. I'm not gonna lie, at that time, I didn't even know what frac sand mining was. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? But man, that dude, it was really cool. And the reason I'm telling this story is because that's a client that, you know, when you have that conversation, you get to be kind of a part of that initial piece. He went from obviously not knowing if this is going to work out to where, oh shit, this thing is going to work out. His projections went from like 300,000 year one to literally like 30 million because it's, I mean, he just took over literally the entire market down there in all of Corpus and Flower Bluff and all the surrounding area. I mean, he couldn't, you know, pull out enough freaking sand. And so again, I like telling that story because I think about it and I'm like, dude, that was like a $300,000-$400,000 account, and you just go learn about it. And it's really cool to kind of have those conversations, be a part of those business owners' lives. I think that's, and you guys can probably agree with this too, that's one of my favorite parts working with business owners is, dude, I'm a freaking business owner too. And I think, you know, sometimes that relationship where it's like you try to be the insurance guy, and you should be the expert. But I mean, some of the conversations I have with my clients, again, this guy's name's Mike Jones. He just called me and we're catching up, and you know, striping. He runs Jones Striping and Seal Company, seal coating company out of Richmond, Virginia. They're doing casinos. When I first met the dude, they were doing drive-thrus, and now they're doing casinos and Walmarts. And it's just like that conversation is just so much fun to have, and the fact that we get to be a part of that. Again, it's not just and don't get me wrong, I know auto and home is important. It does save lives. It saves people's financial burdens as well, but man, it's really cool to have those conversations with other business owners and seeing them doing their thing and getting to be a part of that. Right. So with that being said, y'all, as we kind of preempted earlier this week and even starting on Friday, we have an announcement. We're really excited. I've been talking, obviously I've known Kody and Tyler for years now, and it's just been something that has been on my heart. And something that, again, one of my focuses and one thing that I'm really trying to do this year is really educate and consult with other agencies and agency owners and businesses. And even if you're just a solo, you know, one man, one woman shop, this could be for you as well. But it is to show you how to actually build an entire commercial division. We're calling it the Commercial Insurance Blueprint. It is just crazy multifaceted of everything that myself, Kody, and Tyler are doing within their agency to just drive, again, profit to what was it? What was your line again, Kody? Is profit for sanity? You got to say it again.
For vanity, profit is for sanity.
Profit is for sanity, man. And so we're really excited. Again, we're calling it the Commercial Insurance Blueprint. Kody, I'll kind of just turn it over to you. Obviously, you guys know a main thing for me, and some of you guys have maybe already gone through this consultation with me on the trucking side. So that is kind of my vertical. I love trucking, anything, scripts, systems, leads, how to generate those leads, appointment set. I mean, all kinds of cool things that we're going to have packaged to that. I'll wrap up with that. Kody, I'll turn it over to you, man. Just kind of highlight some of the things that, you know, you're going to be providing to people that want to work with us.
Yeah, man, the biggest hole that I look to fill in this industry, you know, I've been on the consulting and coaching side for about 2.5 years now. And the biggest thing that I saw was a lack of practical advice and resources, right? We can go through and look at book definitions of CGL and inland marine and commercial auto, but people don't learn that way a lot of times. They need real life practical examples and real life application and learning these things. So what we're going to start with for most agencies, because of this fear factor, and the thing that we do here is I'm just not comfortable with commercial coverage, is a crash course in commercial foundations, right? Let's get your producers, yourself, whoever needs to be there up to speed on these lines of coverage. So we're going to crash course the main lines of coverage on the commercial side. Then from there, we're going to take that. We're going to start examining verticals and niches that you can go into, and we're going to start diving deep into those niches and developing brand authority and reputation around that, and then put a prospecting plan in place, man. You guys just freaking go to work and go start making money.
I freaking love it, dude. And more too. Well, and everybody that's kind of tuning in and watching, we still have just a ton of people tuning in. Brian, I do see your question. We'll come back to that and definitely answer that real quick before we end the show. Tyler, what you got, man? This is also the really cool part, because it's like, all right, me and Kody can come in and obviously Tyler too, but what he's really bringing to the table on this kind of package deal, it's freaking sick. I mean, and it's just such a different world that we're freaking living in. The fact that we can now offer things like this versus, we tried to do this 10 years ago. I think we're having a different conversation, right?
Right. So I'll start with the less sexy and move up. So first steps is just kind of systems and frameworks for your agency. So how should data come in? How should it flow through the agency? How do you train your team members to handle each piece? How do you train your team members to actually do the accord forms, the applications, make sure the service requests are being done properly, et cetera? Then we've got automation templates we can help you set up. So how does the information come into your CRM? What is the text and email that goes out? What's the reminders that go out, et cetera? And then from there, we've also got the resources I mentioned earlier, all our AI tools. If you're in our program, you get them for free. So all your new proposals for commercial and personal lines, certificates done. We'll have accord forms done soon, certificate vaults. Kody and I have been working on a program for a couple of months now for appointment setters. So literally we just plug in our scripts and they just go to town booking appointments for you. So you just show up and sell. And then I'll give discounts on our VAs if you need somebody actually in there doing the processes. Happy to give discounts there and give like one-on-one coaching. So that's what I've got to offer.
I
Joe?
freaking love it, dude. It's the all-in-one, baby. It's the all-in-one. I mean, you guys, a lot of y'all have seen my trucking training and stuff, but we do a way more in-depth. Some of this obviously we'll be doing virtually, but then also looking to do some in-person events. Again, depending on the agency and what you're really trying to achieve, like we'll come to you, right? Or maybe you come to us. We'll figure that out and the logistics behind that. But we are looking to have in-person as well as the virtual. But y'all, this is not just, again, the kind of kickoff calls. Like, here you go and best of luck. So we are looking at really a 3 to 6 month, I would say 6 month commitment is kind of where we're starting. I will say anybody that we've kind of done this with before, if they're actually serious and they're taking advantage of everything that, we're teaching, you ain't going to need us for 6 months. It's more of like, hey, you can call us if you need us, but it's within 2 to 3 months. I've really seen these agencies pick it up if they are trying to pick it up and run with it. So obviously for myself, anything in the trucking space, Brian, kind of talking to you about how important are direct contracts when trying to pivot from personal to commercial. We have Progressive and Geico and some MGAs and looking to find a niche. You got Progressive and freaking Geico. I mean, that's your trucking niche right there. Progressive, I always tell everybody, Progressive is the #1 truck insurance company in America. They insure, almost 50% of the freaking market at this point in time. And it's crazy to see like some of their hit rates, and especially in their contractor classes. I know like in California, their contractor auto, it's the hit rate's 55%. So again, Progressive is great. Geico's obviously great. They're newer to the trucking space, but you still obviously can utilize them for the new ventures. And then the MGAs would be through AmWins. That would also, so some of these relationships, as you guys know, I'm kind of on the Clearview side of things. This is not a move contracts type of things. This is like, let us help you get the contracts and the relationships in place. We're not trying to put our hand in the cookie jar when it comes to your revenue or your commissions. We're showing you how to freaking fill up that cookie jar for yourself. So again, everything on the trucking side, we'll do bi-weekly, producer and agent meetings. We'll have Slack channels, so you guys have real-time communication to myself, Tyler, and Kody. And then also I'll even include, some of my team as well and some of my specialists just for kind of one-off trainings. We do a monthly training with the actual agency owner. And again, we're looking to do some, in-person type things. And as Tyler kind of mentioned, any of the systems, right? So some of y'all may already have the CRMs and things set up. Awesome. Good for you. You haven't missed the boat. But some of y'all may still be working on Excel sheets, and you may be like, it may be the fear thing of like, man, a CRM, like, oh my gosh, we have built out CRMs that, again, we can offer at a discounted price that come built out for you. So again, we're really freaking excited. We're calling it, again, the commercial insurance blueprint. It'll be myself, Kody, and Tyler. And I'm sure at some point too, we'll, maybe have some special guests or people just, again, that believe in what we're doing. And we'll hop in and do some special training for you guys. But we have it packaged. It's extremely robust. We're looking for serious business owners, and y'all do not come to me asking me for this for free. Okay. I'm happy to do a quick little discovery call with you and give you some tips and tricks. That's kind of damn near what this podcast was this morning. But like, this is not a free program. This is a paid program. I believe people pay for what they value. And I promise you, once I'm going to release everything in the group, so you'll know the price points and the tiering and everything that we have. You'll make that back again within your first 2 to 3 months. I can almost damn near guarantee that if you're putting in the work. So again, don't come to us for free. Our hearts. A lot of y'all have probably been on calls with us for free, and we've delivered value. this is a two-way street this time. So again, we're really excited. We want to pour into agents, but we also want to pour into the right people. So for anybody, again, that is interested in really implementing and just creating, or even, I would say, cleaning up your commercial division and making it more efficient and having the processes and the systems in place, this is the program for you. Again, I'm going to drop it in the group so you guys will have all of our details, all of our contact info. We'll hop on a discovery call. We're already having discovery calls, and we've had a lot of interest in what we're trying to roll out to people. So again, we're really excited. And so that's what we got. Again, the commercial insurance blueprint, it's something we've been working on. I'm excited to roll it out for agents in 2026. And really, again, change some agencies and change some freaking lives, man. So with that being said, I know we're running just a little long here. I have just one final question for the two of you. Kody and Tyler, it's one of my favorite questions that I ask people before we get off the show. And it's, what do you hope people say about you in 5 years? Not next year, not 10 years, not when you're retiring, whatever, but just in the next 5 years. What do you hope they say about Kody and Tyler? Kody, we'll start with you.
Oh, man, that is a hell of a question right there. Man, I just strive to leave every life that I touch better than I found it.
I like that. Elaborate a little bit on that. Why is that? Why you want to be seen in 5 years?
That's a story for another hour-long show.
Another podcast. Yep.
You know, the way that God has poured into me, the way that others have poured into me, the way that I wouldn't be where I am without people pouring into me the way that they have, and the way that the good Lord himself has blessed me. And I think that that's the calling that we have, right? When people pour into us that way and we experience success, and we're given these gifts and talents that we're given, it's our duty and should be our desire to go give that to others.
I love that, dude. I freaking love that, man. Tyler, what do you hope they say about Tyler 5 years from now?
Similar to Kody. I'd love for them to say he did it right. Same type idea, like whatever it is, operated with integrity, provided more value than he took, etc. Like, did things with excellence. I want people to say he did it right.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, y'all heard it here first. The commercial insurance blueprint is live. We're excited to announce that. Again, I'll package and release everything here within the group. And then I already see people, oh my gosh, yes, where do I sign up? We'll be reaching out to you. And again, we'll do some discovery calls just to, again, it's not a one size fits all. We want to make sure it makes sense for you and your agency, but we're really excited to release that. So we'll definitely be following up with anybody, and then just be on the lookout. I'll pin it to the top of the group of everything that we're doing to implement, create, that are fine tune your commercial insurance division in your property and casualty agency. So with that being said, y'all, happy winning on Wednesday. You know what time it is, though. It's the peak of the week. It's not time to slow down. It's time to keep the pedal down. And y'all, at the end of the day, be an expert, but make sure your clients know that you are the expert. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.